Southland Goldens. I'm here for our week 2 video of our Dana and Jack litter. So I'm here with the 11 puppies. We are still a couple weeks away from where these videos really get interesting, but I promise you they will get more interesting as we go along. As you can see, we pretty much still just eat and sleep. But everybody is now over a pound, even our little tiny guy, Orange right here. We have got over a pound. So I tell people with large litters, when they go home at 8 weeks old, they're going to be a little smaller than your average puppy that came from, say, a litter of 6. And obviously that is because they started out a little bit smaller than, say a smaller litter. But they will catch up. That's not going to play any factor on what size they're going to be when they are full grown. But they are doing fantastic. We are monitoring their weight, checking it twice a day, and making sure everybody's gaining weight, everybody's getting enough milk. They're doing really good. Dana is doing fantastic, keeping these guys clean, keeping them fed. She is doing really, really good. So eyes are open, which is super neat to see now because you guys didn't see that in the last video. I will show you that in a second. They are going through our socialization process. We put them through something that's called ENS. Just a couple of things to get them used to being in this world and, different sounds, being handled, all those things that they're going to be coming in contact with their whole life. They're getting pedicures. We trim their little nails. That helps Mama Dana out, obviously, so they're not so sharp when they're nursing. So just right now, there's a few things that we're adding in each day, and they are doing fantastic, but they're still little babies. All they do is eat and sleep. So by the time we get to week 6, it's going to be crazy in here. They're going to be all over the place, untying my shoes, getting into everything. Toys will be going everywhere. So bear with me for these next couple weeks because I promise, it will get more interesting. What we're going to do this week, kind of like last week, because we're still seeing their little personalities, their little temperament starting to come out. So we're really going to focus on their weight and kind of tell you what we saw. So we're going to go with our boys. We're going to do boys first because there are 5 boys and 6 girls. So they're outnumbered. And you can kind of see, if you can scoot in over here. You can kind of see coat color starting to come out. Like Mr. Blue is a very light colored coat. Miss Pink has a light colored coat. So just, you can see that Mr. Black might have a little bit more cream than, say, Mr. Blue. So just a couple things that you guys can start to notice. Now, really when we look at coat color, we're going to look at their ear color when they're about that 7-week mark. And we'll talk a lot about that in our 7-week video. Now, I don't want you to just pick solely on the base of their coat color. So let that be kind of, if you've got 2 that really kind of fit what you're looking for, either outgoing or laid back, then kind of play that into factor. But don't just focus on, hey, I want Mr. Blue because he's almost solid white. But we'll talk more about that as we get a little closer. So back to size. Our biggest guy and our biggest puppy, barely, because he's got a sister that's catching up to him, is Mr. Blue. Mr. Blue is 1.92. 1.92. So really a big growth spurt. Yes. 1.92. Mr. Blue. You can see those little eyes are open? And I'm going to flip him over. Oh. Here we go. So I don't know if you guys remember last week, but he really took off at 1.92. There you go. Next in size, I gotta use my little cheat sheet. Next in size is Mr. Red. We got a tie here. So this is Mr. Red. Mr. Red is 1.9. You see the little eyes are open? 1.9 for Mr. Red. Hey, big guy. You're doing good. But yeah, we flip them over, get them used to running our fingers through their paw pads, messing with their gums, their little ears. Oh. So this is Mr. Red, 1.9. I wish I could say I memorized all these weights, but it's just not possible. Also at 1.9 is Mr. Brown. So we've got 3 boys that are really close in size, and you'll see we got one that's a little bit smaller, and then we got our little guy. So this is Mr. Brown. I promise his eyes are open. You not want to show him your eyes? Say, our eyes are open. We're still real blurred vision right now, obviously. Oh yeah, you relaxed real good. Good job. Good job. That little thing. He is sound asleep. And their paw pads are coming in. The color real nice. Their pigment on their paw pads. Let me reword that. But when they're born, their little noses are pink and their paw pads are pink, and then their starts to come in, so turning black. All right, that's Mr. Brown. Next, you'll see our big jump in size. We go to Mr. Black, and Mr. Black is 1.5. So we go from the 1.9 to around 1.5. And you're gonna fall sound asleep sitting here. Look at this. Does anybody else wish they could sleep this good? I sure wish I could. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Mr. Black. Completely relaxed. Oh, you see the little sigh? Good morning. Good morning. This is Mr. Black. And then we get to our little tiny guy, who obviously we check his weight multiple times a day just to make sure. And he's just a smaller guy. I do think he's going to have a smaller frame when he's full grown. This is Mr. Orange, and Mr. Orange is 1.16. So I'm going to do a comparison of him with Mr. Blue here in a second. So you can kind of see, even just by looking at their face and their little paws, how much smaller he is. He's a feisty little thing, though. He gets in there and he definitely gets his turn eating, just a little bit smaller. We'll flip him over. Oh, you about disappeared. Look how sweet. Super relaxed. That's what we like to see. We like to see them be real calm and relaxed when we flip them over, running our fingers through their paws and their gums. Good boy. So I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison here, just of these two, just the size-wise. You can see even just in their face, and definitely. Oh, what is it, Mr. Blue? That Mr. Orange is just a good bit smaller. All right, so those are our boys. Now for our girls, our big chunky lady, we won't say chunky, we'll say healthy. Our healthy puppy is Miss Pink, and she's 1.9, so she is hanging right there with the boys for sure. So this is Miss Pink, 1.9. So you got your little mohawk. This is where you can see where their hair looks like that's where Dana has been licking them. I promise we're clean. Her eyes are open real good, you can see. So this is Miss Pink, my blocky girl. It's gonna be a bigger girl. Look at that, right to sleep. So that's Miss Pink. Next in size, we have Miss Purple. Miss Purple is 1.82. Yes, ma'am. And if you guys are seeing the little spots on their paws, that's where their dew claws were removed. I get asked about that sometimes. So that is where their dew claws were removed. So this is Miss Purple at 1.82. Hi. Good girl. You are very alert. Yes, you are. That's a good girl. Okay. Next we have Miss Green. And Miss Green is 1.6. You look a little sleepy. You can tell where Dana's been licking her too. Yeah, you're having a bad hair day. Yes, you are. This is Miss Green. And I'm flipping each one over, just I want you guys to see how they react when we do this. That's a good girl too. That's a good girl, Miss Green. All right, also at 1.6 is Miss White. And Miss White is the one with the black lines on her collar. Miss Zebra, we'll call you Miss Zebra Print. How about that? She has a very pretty light colored coat as well. So this is Miss White, 1.6. So you're a little more fidgety, huh? Fidgety today, yeah. There you go. Miss White. All right. And then we have Miss, let's see if I did this in the right order, white to gray. Yes, because we're close. Miss Gray. Miss Gray is 1.58, so very close to the others. Here's Miss Gray. That's a good girl. That's very good. She's very relaxed. So look, she fell asleep. She gone. All right, and our smallest girl is going to be for this week, because as you saw with blue, it changes weekly, is Miss Yellow. And Miss Yellow is 1.48. So I don't necessarily think that she's going to be a petite girl compared to the others. So we're just all growing at our own little pace. So this is Miss Yellow. Look at Mr. Blue down there. One of the biggest pups, and he has decided to crawl right on top of everyone. And this is how they sleep. They sleep in big piles. So if you guys saw the supply list that I sent to you, you saw at the very end, there was a large lamb chop that we recommend. The reason for that is because these puppies, they sleep on top of each other. They don't sleep far apart or anything like that. And they kind of stay that way until, until they go home. Now, we do start crate training at 6 weeks, so they are used to sleeping by themselves. But this just kind of, the lamb chop kind of mimics how they sleep with their litter mates. It makes that transition from our home to your home a little bit easier. We also send home a blanket that'll have the scent of their litter mates, and I'll go over with you on what you do with that. But yeah, so make sure you get the lamb chop. All right, you're gonna hear them all whimper a little bit. I'm gonna try to spread everybody out because we are starting to kind of scoot around. No, I'm not the bad guy, guys, I promise. We'll move you closer. But I want you to see where they're at right now, trying to scoot around. They're still almost to the, I call it the baby deer phase, where they're all wobbly and kind of scooting around. We're definitely not walking very well yet, but we do manage to scoot around. Nobody's gonna walk we all too sleepy? Huh? These two are trying to move a little bit. There you go. Orange, I think you did the best. You're doing the best. You see Red's going to try to get up and walk a little bit. But it will not be long before they are in full sprint all over the place. There goes Brown. Look at Yellow. I'm going to say, I found a friend. Alright guys, well this is pretty much going to wrap up our week 2 video. Bear with me, I promise these next couple weeks will be a lot more interesting. If you have any questions, let me know. If we still haven't lined up arrangements to get your puppy to you, let me know and we'll go ahead and get that booked. Talk to you soon.